Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we'll need to take a look at our risk disclosure. Okay, we just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained in herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure, guys, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the news portal, okay, and see what kind of news we have in front of us that could potentially impact the markets. So we're going to go ahead and switch screens here, turn our attention to let's see right here. Okay, that's visible to everyone. Let's move this up here, and we'll take a look here. Okay, so looking at what news we have in front of us. Well, we have Home Depot. Looks like reporting Q2 earnings, or has reported Q2 earnings. 5 o'clock. Or actually 8 a.m. This morning, we have an interview with Trump has an interview with Fox. We have some housing information being reported here at 8:30 this morning. Housing starts, building permits. We had Fed Bowman speaking at 10 a.m. And then we have President Trump signing a congressional bill. And again, we have Bowman speaking again at 1:10. Okay, so but I think again, guys, as I mentioned before, the big news event that I think people are waiting for and trying to understand is the FOMC minutes. I think again, it could cause the market to kind of, especially equity markets, to kind of range. Okay, in anticipation of that announcement. Okay. In addition, tomorrow we have the EIA crude oil report that will impact the crude oil market, and then we close out the week with some normal news here. We have jobless claims, manufacturing PMI, home sales, and things of that nature. Okay, but like I said, I think what everybody has their eyes on right now is the FOMC meeting that's taking place tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so that's I think what maybe caused maybe some of the rangy kind of markets we've been seeing of late in these markets. All right, so now that we've gotten a feel for the news, we're going to turn our attention now to the charting platform, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the market we normally start with, and that is the crude oil market. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and do this here. Bring this up. Go to window, charting platform, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily chart here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and open this up here. I know that's not being shared. Okay, there we are. All right, let's go ahead and share here. Okay. All right. So taking a look at the daily chart, guys. Looking at this, we have the again continue consolidation pattern that we're seeing in the gold market of late. Um, Thank you, Em. Appreciate your efforts there. So again, we are in some sort of consolidation range in the gold market. Yeah, in some sort of consolidation market in this chart here. Looking at these bars of late, they're obviously not overly impressive in either direction. We have wicks on both sides of the candles here. Probably a market that is also waiting on some additional information. Okay, much like the equities. So we've been in some sort of range or consolidation of late here. Okay, moving down to the 4-hour chart here. Okay, we can see that the market. Let's go ahead and we'll turn off initial balance here for a moment. Here, okay. You can see again that we've been in a market that is, I guess, of late has been a bit on the bearish side. Okay, so looking at this, we're starting to create a little bit of structure here to the downside. We've been to the downside since August 8th. Okay, and we've been in this bearish pattern ever since. Okay, we are developing yet another bearish candle here, indicating that there's still a fair amount of selling pressure on this market. We're going to go ahead and move into the 30-minute chart here. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at what London and Asia has been able to do with this market. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the initial balance range here. Okay, let's see if I can locate that. Yeah, and we're going to start off. We're going to start off with the Asia session. Okay, and get a sense for what Asia was able to do with this market. Okay. So looking at this, you can see that Asia wasn't able to manage too much of a direction. It remained mainly in range for the entirety of the session, and it wasn't until we got to the London session that we managed to break above the initial balance range. Okay. Right now, we are in a series of bearish candles. We are beginning to break some structure here to the downside. Okay. So, again, I would say that we continue to show signs that we are in some sort of bearish structure in the gold market. Okay. We're going to take a look at the fixed range volume profile here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at where price is in relation to Monday's price action here. Okay. Drag that across to the close here. Okay, so you can see that price is morning, Keith. So you can see that price is inside value from yesterday, and so indicating that we are seeing some sort of balanced price action in this market. Okay, so right now I would say that entering into the New York session, that we are probably looking at a market that is somewhat bearish, and that we should probably look for some opportunities to the bearish side. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here, not fixed range, but our anchored VWAP here. Okay. For London. And you can see here, right outside of settlement price, which I believe is an area that we probably are going to come and visit here at some point. We see that price is below a lot of the indicators that we care about, right? So we're below value area high. We're below our VWAP, and we're below our VWAP from London. Okay, so we're getting a lot of indications here of some bearish price action in this market. Now, we are coming into some areas, right? We have the point of control and settlement here down below that could offer us some support, and that offer us maybe something that would allow us to stay in a continued range. If you recall, when we came down to this area in the past, that we found some buyers here, right? So the question now becomes are we going to find some buyers in this area again? We've come and retested this area not once, not twice, but potentially we're going to be testing this a third time. Eventually this area is going to run out of the participants that maybe need to keep the price at its current levels, and we could potentially see a move, I would say, in the gold to the downside. Okay, so entering into the session, I would say that I'm, I guess, relatively bearish, I guess, on this market, with the understanding that I do see that we are in some areas where we could potentially see a bounce in price. Okay, moving on to the crude oil market here. Okay, we're going to take a look at the daily chart, similar to what we've been seeing. Again, we continue to be in bearish structure here. Okay, you can see that I have my 9 EMA here to kind of help support me in arriving at the general direction of price, and price remains bearish. Okay, in this market, crude oil. Okay, so again, daily remains bearish. We're going to go ahead and move down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart is also equally bearish here. We're going to turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that price is below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA, and below settlement. Okay, we are very much inside some bearish structure. Now, I suspect that this little gap that we created here was a result of rollover. Well, we filled this gap in the overnight, and again found some sellers in this market. Okay. Moving into the 30-minute chart. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at here at the fixed range volume profile here. We're gonna get a sense of where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. So this is Monday. This is the start, and then this is the close here. Okay, right about here. Okay, so you can see that price right now is currently below value, indicating that there is a fair amount of pressure here to the downside. You can see that price is below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA, and I'm going to go ahead and add our anchored VWAP to this discussion. Okay, right about there, and you can see that we are below our value for below our VWAP for London as well. Okay, we're going to take a peek here at across the board here on our initial balance. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Asia to start. Okay, so Asia, very nice move to the downside. Very narrow initial balance range, and gave us a very nice short opportunity in the Asia market. Okay, moving the initial balance to London. Okay, London appears to have maybe also given us a break to the downside. Okay, so we have a break to the downside, probably not as definitive as we got in the Asia market, but nonetheless, price is below our initial balance range. So for all, if we are unable to hold below or above 61.88, I don't see any reason why we can't come and maybe retest some of these lows here. Okay, now we do see that the settlement price is above us, but everything else about this market is to the downside. Okay, so I would say heading into the session, we remain somewhat bearish in this market. Okay, so I'm gonna before we move on to the equities, guys, I'm gonna again echo some of the comments earlier that M made. I would encourage you guys, if this analysis is supporting you, and you would like me to continue to offer this, I would encourage you to hit the likes, smash the likes, if you're not already a subscriber, to go ahead and subscribe, and support me in my continued efforts here. Okay. All right. Now that I got through that, let's go ahead and take a look at the equities. Okay. Thank you so much, Trader Alejandro. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily. All right. We're looking at the daily here. We're seeing some weakness in this market. Okay. So let's remove some of our drawings here. Okay. We're seeing some weakness, but technically, if I draw this channel here, technically we're still inside, okay, a bullish channel to the upside. Okay. While we are seeing some, neutral or maybe to bearish kind of price activity, the market remains inside this bullish channel to the upside. Okay. Price is above our 9 EMA, which is again another marker that I use to determine price direction. And it seems like we are, again, a little bit in range in anticipation for what I mentioned earlier, the FOMC announcement that we're going to get tomorrow. That's kind of my view on this, unless maybe some of that information gets leaked out. But I think right now the market appears to be waiting, okay, over the last week here on the news, right? These candles really don't offer much in the way of direction. If anything, it seems more of a consolidation pattern, okay, for maybe a continuation move to the upside. Moving down to the 4-hour chart, okay, looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Actually, first of all, we're going to remove initial balance, and then we're going to remove some of our drawings, okay? So again, you can see that we had a nice little push, a nice little impulsive move to the upside. But ever since we had that impulsive move almost a week ago, we've been in this kind of consolidation pattern ever since, making little lower lows and lower highs. Again, does not look like it's an impulsive move to the downside, but it's a bearish move nonetheless. So if we're going to be looking at this market to continue to the upside, well, we need it to get outside of this bearish channel to the downside. Otherwise, we need to continue to participate in the market to the downside. Now, we are coming into some areas down below here, right? We had when we're trying to figure out exactly where buyers are, well, we need to look at where they were most evident in the market. Right now, I'm seeing that 23,640 seems to be an area, right? If we are going to continue this downward kind of progression, this 23,640. Thank you, Debworth. This 23,640 seems to be a logical area for the market to potentially reverse, right? This is the last known area. Okay, last known area where we saw bulls, right? So as long as we remain here inside this channel, well, we have to kind of look at the market from a bearish point of view. But we also understand that we have areas that where we're basically the market is looking for participation right now from the buyers. Okay, right now they've been nibbling, but not to the same level here. So at some point, the buyers are going to get more aggressive. They're going to see this as a discount and going to drive price in the other direction. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart here, okay? And we'll take a look at the fixed range. We'll remove some of our drawings. We'll take a look at the fixed range volume profile here to start this analysis here, okay? And get a sense for where the market is in relation to yesterday's price action, okay? And right about here, you can see that we're smack right in the middle of the initial of the value range, okay, indicating that we are in some sort of rangy kind of price action. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing some sort of pattern here. Okay, what pattern am I? What pattern do you think I'm seeing in this market? What's the pattern that I'm kind of recognizing as I'm looking at this? It's kind of test for you guys. What's the pattern that I'm looking at before I draw it, guys? Diamond. Well, that's head and shoulders is kind of what I'm looking at, right? There is also a W pattern, right? I see also W, but I also see a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern here. Now it's probably at the wrong side of the market, right? You normally see these kind of patterns on the upper end, right? On the top end of the market. So this might be more of a W pattern, but nonetheless, I'm seeing a head, a left shoulder, and a right shoulder, okay, in this market. So I don't know if that's going to translate into a move, right? Whether we see a move to the downside of the magnitude of this area here, right? Is this an indication that we could see maybe a move that will lead us back down to 23,640 if this plays out, right? This being the neckline right here around 23,733. Okay. That's kind of what I'm wondering about, right? So this is the head, this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder, this is the neckline. Okay. So I took my measure, and this is telling us that maybe we move down to the 23,640 level. Okay. That's kind of what this pattern is telling me. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up initial balance. Let's take a look at what the initial balance range, what kind of range, or what the market's earlier sessions offered here with respect to opportunity, okay, and also direction here, okay. So you can see you can see that we continue to be in some sort of range. Now we did have an extension in Asia to the downside, but the auction failed, right? The downside auction failed, and it rotated back through the initial balance range before it found some sellers, and now we are in the midst of a bearish price action to the downside. Okay, let's take a look here at the let's see, London. Okay, London also peaking below the initial balance range from the London range. Again, giving us some indication that maybe there is some downside pressure to this market. Again, we are at a level, this 23,000, let's say 735 level, has been tested not just once, not just twice, a third time, now potentially working on the fourth. Is this going to be the swing that's going to cause the market to break below? Well, I'm not going to anticipate that, right? I'm not going to be the one to lead the charge. I'm going to let the participants drive price in that direction, and then maybe I can participate after it's made its move and look for a pullback to that same level and look for an opportunity for a continuation move to the downside. That's kind of what I'll be looking for. Okay. Anchor VWAP also probably telling us the same thing, that we are in some sort of bearish price action. So I would say that headed into the session, we are looking at maybe a little bit of a bearish to range. Okay. Bearish to range is kind of what I'm seeing. In order to continue this pattern, we need to break and hold below let's say 23,734. Okay, if we get below 23,734, we could be in maybe a move that could take us all the way down to, say, around 23,660, 23,630 level. Okay, and that would kind of play out this head and shoulder pattern that we just mentioned. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead now and move on to the ES here, S&P, and see what the S&P has to say. Again, looking a lot like what we're seeing on the NASDAQ here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings. Okay, all right, DeAndre. So in any case, guys, we have again some indication here that we are in some sort, again, very similar to what we're seeing on the NASDAQ, right? Very similar pattern, just different price points, right? While we are seeing a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a consolidation, price remains above our 9 EMA on the daily, right? So this pullback that we're seeing is well within I would say, the tolerance levels of what we would expect in a bullish move. Okay, so on the higher time frame, we remain bullish, right? We haven't really broken any structure here to the downside in this market. Okay, moving into the 30-minute chart, not 30-minute chart, 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, you can see that we are very much inside this bullish channel. Okay. We are of late maybe creating a little bit of a staircase to the downside, but all we've gotten to is this area where we've appears to have found some buyers here. Okay, so we created a 4-hour candle during the overnight that is of the bullish engulfing variety, and we have a secondary candle here that is showing some rejection to the downside. So is this going to be an area where we see another swing to the upside? As long as we remain above this area, above this lower end of the channel, then I don't see why not, especially based on what I'm seeing here on the 4-hour chart. Okay, taking a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, 30-minute chart here. Okay, so we start to see maybe a slightly different story here, right? We see that price is below our below our settlement price. It's working its way below our 9 and also our VWAP to the downside. It's creating a little bit of a double top. Okay, double topping pattern here around settlement price. We're creating a bearish engulfing candle. Okay, so looking at this, okay, you would say that we maybe are showing maybe a little bit of signs that we are bearish, okay? But I'm looking at this volume delta, right? And the volume delta, while bearish, is showing signs that there are some buyers. There are some buyers in this, right? We've seen a net more sellers, but it's also showing that there are buyers kind of present here, okay? It's given us some indication that there is some buying possibly taking place here. I'm going to go ahead and draw in a little bit of a zone that I'm sensing here. Okay, so we got a push above some structure, we got a pullback, and have not been able to close back inside this area here. I'm gonna call it, let's see, 6460. Okay, price has not been able to close back inside 6460. Now we are seeing maybe a little bit more of a mixed bag here. Okay. Price is below settlement, but like right at this moment, I would say that we're probably above the 9 EMA, or kind of hovering around it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the initial balance range and just get a sense of what London and Asia were able to do with this market. We'll start with the Asia market here and take a look. Okay, so Asia, okay, unlike looks like we got a failed auction. Okay, failed auction lower. I think we got something similar in the right, failed auction lower, and we weren't able to rotate through the entire range of the initial balance range before sellers step back into this market. Okay, so again, Asia looks like it's showing the signs of some bearish action. Okay, moving down to the London market. London. Take a look at London. London, okay, we are looking a bit more bullish, right? We broke the range to the upside, held the high end of the range, and now we're back at that range again. Probably not. If I'm a bull, that's probably not what I want to see, right? If I'm bullish, I'd like to see the market continue in the upward direction once it broke, especially after retesting that level. Okay. Nonetheless, it appears that we remain above. Okay, initial balance high. Okay, looking maybe for a potential possibility of continuing higher here. Okay, so I would say that the market looks, for me, on the S&P, looks a bit more mixed to me. Okay, I am seeing some indications of where we could potentially head lower. Okay, but what's causing me a little bit of pause here is the fact that we are seeing some wicks in these volume delta bars, indicating that there are some maybe buyers, maybe hiding in the mist here. Okay, so we'll have to see and wait for this market to play out, and wait for this initial balance range, which will take place here in about 20 minutes, and then decide from there exactly which direction they want to take this market. But right now, I would have to say more range to bearish. Okay, range to bearish. Starting to get maybe I'm making some sign here, maybe a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern, but it's not quite as clear as it was or is in the NASDAQ. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the Dow. Looking at the Dow, we're going to take a look at the daily chart here. Okay. Well, the Dow looks far more bullish. Okay. Than either the NASDAQ or the ES here, right? You can see that we're responding away from the 9 EMA with the bullish candle, right? We're not creeping into that 9 EMA. We're actually beginning to show signs. Now, what's interesting right away is that we have a bearish candle, right? Well, not candle. We have a bearish volume delta bar, but price is looking bullish. Okay, so a little bit of it's a little bit of a stepchild. Yes. So the fact that we have a bullish, so price is not congruent with the volume that's coming in. So are we trapping some shorts at these levels? Okay, with this price action, are we trapping some shorts that maybe could cause them to capitulate and cause price to drive higher? Well, that's kind of what it's looking like on the daily side, right? Daily side is giving us some indication that we are in some sort of bullish structure. I would say that it's probably even stronger than either the NASDAQ or the ES here, okay? Moving down to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, again, we see the development of these 4-hour candles. We had a nice bullish engulfing candle. We had a little bit of a push down to down below, only to find buyers. Okay, so here we are. This is kind of coming to be, or looking to be, to me, a little bit of a demand zone here around 44,900. Okay, I think I mentioned in the past, for me, this 45,000 level is something of interest to me. Okay, I would say that as long as price remains above 45,000, I would say that I remain bullish, right? If I look at this, you can see that we're beginning to break a channel to the upside. We came back, retested inside the channel, and now we're working our way to close above it. Bullish price action. Moving into the 30-minute chart, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our fixed range volume profile here. Okay, we're going to remove our channel. We know that we're above it, and we're going to look at the fixed range volume profile and kind of compare here as to where we are in relation to price here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off here, right around here. Okay, drag that across to the close here. Okay, so you can see, right, that we are above value, right? There are participants willing to participate in this market to the upside, unlike the other equity markets, right? You can see price is above value from yesterday, above our settlement price, above our 9 EMA, above our VWAP. Okay, and if I look at the anchored VWAP, okay, anchored VWAP, let's go ahead and start at the beginning of London here. Okay, it's above London as well. I would say that we might even be a little bit extended, okay, to the upside in this market. Okay, so I'm not one to chase, right? So if I'm going to be participating in this market, I need to see price maybe come back to a level, right, where I can manage my risk. Well, this value area high, area would be a logical level, right, to participate, right? This would be the edge of value, right? So any sort of pullback around this area could offer me an opportunity for an upside move in this market. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up initial balance here just to get a sense for where price is in relation. So we'll start off with Tokyo here. We'll turn on the initial balance range. So obviously you can see we had a little bit of a failed auction. Okay, to the upside, we pulled back to this anchored VWAP, and we've been up ever since. London also showing signs of bullish price action. Okay, I believe we broke above London. Okay, so London also broke very nice move here, right? We broke above our initial balance range, right? Came back and retested the range, and now we've extended that range quite a bit. Okay, so again, this would be for me a very classic 15-2 initial balance extension strategy, okay, in the London market. So very nice bullish move here in the Dow at the moment. Okay, so I have to, going into the market, I have to think more bull than bear at this point. Although I do see that we are a bit extended in the upside move. Yeah, very nice 200% extension of this move, right? So if I draw this, right, settings, and I open up the 200% extension and I color that into red, very nice 200, even above 200% extension in this market. Okay, so very nice bullish move. Unfortunately, I was not available for that, but would have made for a very nice trade. Okay, all right. Let's take a peek across all these markets here, guys, just to kind of summarize where we're kind of our position here. So again, looking at the gold market, I would say is looking a bit on the bearish side, but we are at an area where we could see some reversal in price for it to continue to remain in range. If we get some rejection candles away from settlement, away from the point of control, away from IB low, then maybe we're in for maybe a reversal swing back the other direction. But the market does appear to be bullish. Okay, bearish. All right, looking at the crude oil market, I would say that's equally as bearish. Okay, heading into the session, again, we need to look for some bearish opportunities. And then I would say that the Nasdaq and the ES are a little bit of a mixed bag. Okay, I would say the Nasdaq to me looks a bit on the bearish side, although we are getting some reaction away from this 23,734 level. Okay, but I was market does appear to be, at least there's a lot of overnight bears in this market. Question now becomes, are we going to get bulls to step into this market around 22,734? If so, they're long overdue. Okay, because they've let them. If I'm a bull in this market, having the market kind of reach almost the extreme of my bullish range is probably not a place I want to be unless I want to add to my position. Okay. If I want to add to my position, then this is an area where I would like maybe potentially to add here. Okay. But nonetheless, I would say heading into this session, we're looking a bit bearish. Okay. In the NASDAQ. And then I would say also in the ES. Okay. Creating a little bit of a double top here. Prices below our VWAP, below our 9 EMA. So ES is looking bearish. And then I would say of the three equity markets, the Dow looks to be the strongest of the three. Okay, so bearish in gold, bearish in crude oil. I would say bearish to range in Nasdaq, bearish to range in ES, and I would say right now it looks quite bullish in the Dow. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for you guys. Again, I just remind everyone: hit the likes, hit the subscribes. Make a comment or two if my analysis is supporting your ability or supporting your preparation for the market. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and close this session as we close most sessions. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have an excellent day trading, guys, and we'll talk again soon.